up, everyone? We're going to be streaming here shortly. Just getting a little bit ready. Like I said, I'm starting anywhere between 10 a.m. PST to 11 a.m. PST. This looks like it's going to be the regular schedule until the 9th of this month. So I apologize for that, but for all we know, I might start a little bit earlier. So around 9 a.m. PST. But we'll find that out at a later date. Anyways, we'll be streaming soon. Go ahead and listen to music, and then we'll catch y'all in just a bit. Oh, my camera isn't on. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry for the late delay or the late start today, but I gotta sleep. I don't know what to tell you. But I feel great. I feel amazing. I got a couple of hours of sleep in. I've been staying up late. I've been working on a logo, like I said, for somebody, so that is the primary reason as to why this is going on. So hopefully once the channel starts getting a little bit bigger and we start making money from it, from the videos, we can go ahead and, you know, just start working on this full time. But by the way, guys, I was looking into this book here, and so far it reads pretty well, and there's a lot of interesting things in it. So if you're interested in programming, you should probably check this book out. It's called Game Programming Patterns by Robert Nystrom. And it was recommended on Twitter by a lot of people. And I was reading some of the Adobe reviews, so it looks like this is something I'm going to be picking up here soon. But who knows? Other than that, let's kind of open up Houdini. Houdini launcher. I was afraid. I was almost a little worried that I did not. I was a little worried I didn't. Shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. Holy crap. Oh man, I just opened several of these guys. Sheesh. By the way, welcome everyone. Welcome. I think I'm gonna have to change my LinkedIn. Sweet. 5 years later. Kami, hey, how's it going, Kami? I'm doing good this morning, man. How about you? What is it, the evening over where you're at, my friend? How are you doing today? Wave collapse. Doing all right. I'm a little sad I didn't get to any other videos yesterday. I kind of got off and had to do some stuff around the house. I got a lot of stuff I got to do today because it's after the holidays, and about this time of this month we start putting all of our Christmas stuff away. So we're going to be taking down the tree, all the ornaments, as well as all the outside lights. And I got to fix something in my mother's bathroom. Setting up the ground plane. I just realized we're in like a very long series, guys. Unreal instances, setting up Unreal instance, how to make a visualizer. Oh my god. We're in for a long road, chat. I hate to say that. But we might have to move this. We might have to move this into something else. Like getting the geometry outside. This is all done on a geometry level. And this guy was talking about doing it from a object level. Let's start trying to do that. I wonder if we can even copy and paste stuff over. Subnet. Why am I unable to make the inputs? Looks like we're getting a thing here. Before we go and do any of that, I guess, where'd my objects go? What have I done? Seems like it's going to be a little bit of a slow start the day. It is Friday, you know. On top of that, I haven't been making it too often to the stream, so I apologize, everyone, for the long delays. Just pray that these things become more and more as we progress into the future. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing some like Christian reaction videos, but I feel like it takes away from the premise of the overall videos that we do here. It's mainly around like Christian game development, and I'm hoping eventually we can get into some actual game design. Yes, Friday is kind of strange. You're not wrong. I just pray to God that today is a good day, and I pray that in the name and blood of his son, Christ of Nazareth, or as some people say, Yahushua of the Nazarene. Because some people, if you talk to them, like especially anthropologists, they'll tell you that it's not accurate to say Christ of Nazareth, because Christ of Nazareth, the area wasn't even around during his time, although the area that he was born in or was in is called that today. So they say to call him Yehoshua the Nazarene because to some people he was a Nazarene. Just having a little bit of a foggy start, trying to figure out where I'm going to start, Kami. Thinking about where I'm going to start. So we have this. Do we need to make... shoot. Because this is using this. And I think even using this might be invalid. No, it's not. But we could definitely make this. We could definitely make this. I just stopped by to wish a good stream. I'm going to go to bed. It's been a long day. Well, I appreciate you, Kami, for stopping in, my friend. I hope you have an awesome sleep, and I will catch you Monday. Monday might be an iffy day. Anywhere 10 a.m. PST to 11 p.m. PST here. But with that being said, Tuesday we should be back on schedule, 10 a.m. here on the channel. So, yeah. Anyways, I'll catch you around, man. Thank you for stopping by. So we can definitely make this variable here. Thanks. Wish you the best, or wish my best to you. Thank you. I need it. I need it, Lord. May what he say come true. For me and for you. Why can't I? Yeah. Let's go into parameters. Folder. We'll call this texture. Or we can call this setup, kind of similar to what he's done. And then we can go ahead and drag this texture into here. And this texture will be wave collapse texture. Texture. Wave collapse texture. So now when we save this and reopen it, we'll be able to apply textures and etc. that we want in Unreal as well. So we should be able to drag and drop something in here if we want to kind of base the wave collapse function around. Ugh. But I hope every time I apply this, I don't have to solve the wave collapse function or wave function collapse. Man, after stream yesterday, I got off. We didn't get to go to, because I was working on a video. That short that I made. It's not too fancy. I want your guys' honest opinion on it. Legitimately. Because I'm just trying to find a way to make better videos. I mean, we get a lot of likes, right? Praise God and his son. But let's see what our impressions are at. So we got 19 views. What's the engagement or the reach? So we've had about 66, 19 people saw, so 25.8 people are viewing this. Maybe I can, yeah, you cannot change the thumbnail in your short. I think that's the biggest issue, is not being able to change this thumbnail. Kind of changed itself, so kind of have to place this at the perfect moment in the video. At least we know where that is. But maybe it grabs the... I don't know how the algorithm works for where it captures the thumbnail, but maybe it captures the best image. But yeah, go check it out, guys. Let me know what you think, either in the Discord or in the comments section. I really am interested in your opinion on it. It's kind of like a whimsical video in the sense that I made it on a whim. I was thinking of something that maybe could be a good video. And I felt like maybe giving people a reminder to think outside the box would help. Because, you know, it's not even something I thought of until I started doing 3D stuff in Adobe Illustrator. And I was like, well, I'm trying to make it 3D, so why don't I just use a 3D software? And so I started using Blender, and it worked out great. So let's use a spacer here. Boop. Here. The name. Rose. Red rose. Grid columns. Oh my God. Every time. I think it's because I'm setting these in here. And that's what's going on. But we should be able to designate how many rows and columns we can have in Unreal Engine. And just let that work for a bit, do its magic. I'm gonna have to work on this a lot during the weekend because I just think it's, while don't get me wrong, game development is a little tedious and it can be boring depending on the person depending on the person, but just sitting here and staring at the screen is definitely not as fun as maybe watching a mechanic come to life on screen. However, I would argue it might be interesting for people to see someone learning Houdini, especially since it's something that professionals use. So it's not like a full complete loss. Like, you don't see most channels using Houdini unless they're doing a tutorial or something. So let's see, preferences. Why can't I? It's probably because I'm in the asset window. Level wave collapse function. Setup. What do I have to set up? Let me see if I did that. Huh. Let me guess. I hit apply. I gotta do all that again. No! Why? Why are you making me suffer? Oh, Dios mío. Ah, Dios mío. But yeah, 126, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can get this up to 130 today. Okay, guys? So if you haven't already, click the sub button. And if you're over, we're now streaming, by the way, on X, guys. So if you're interested in watching maybe on Twitter, go ahead and check it out over there, you know. Go follow me, Nazareth Studios. We now do the live streams here. So, you know, I'm trying to get more followers on X, because I feel like it's important for marketing purposes. Oh boy. It's public space now. I can do it. Oh boy. Okay. Decoder settings. We're definitely not going to want to have access to this. I don't think that really matters too much. But I do want to pull the geometry maybe from somewhere else. I saw someone using, I forget what it was called. It was like a sub. Shoot, what was it? Rashad's, that Mickey impression caught me off guard. It usually catches people off guard, but the sad truth is I can only go, oh boy, hello everyone. I'm public domain. I can even do Elmo a little bit. Elmo. Elmo wants to play. Elmo wants to have a good time and hang out. So make sure to click the sub button. Kind of. I haven't done it in a long time. But how's it going, Rashads? How's your day, my friend? Thank you for being here. Hanging out. Houdini. Well, actually, I think I learned about this in the learn area. My learning paths. Bloop. And I think I learned it, in pipeline, PDG, learn how to manage pipeline dependencies. Build a city with PDG. Robert Maggie. I would like to see,
but
is a procedurally architecture designed to distribute tasks and manage dependencies to better scale, automate, and analyze content pipelines for film, TV, games, advertising, and virtual reality. So
first, let's focus on PDG, which stands for Procedural Dependency Graphs. And it's all about extending the visual procedural paradigm to the big. Anytime awkward, very hard, and just dependency to text.
Yeah, see.
With dependencies and something to do with efficiency. We want every different some tasks from we went about doing that. So we introduced a new around management. Rob, not using tonight, called Pilot PDG. We'll give you all the details about Pilot PDG when we release the software.
We got to figure out how to make a PDG and do all the things that we're also learning in here, because we're going to have to, I don't know specifically, right? By the way, guys, another shameless inclusion here at Nazareth Studios over at Twitter. Make sure to go follow that account there. And make sure to click the like and sub button, because we stream every day here. So if you want to chill, relax, watch someone experiment a whole lot and lose their mind, then yeah, click that like and sub button, and tune in 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. PST here Monday through Friday. But yeah, Houdini PDG purpose. I'm trying to get a better, maybe let's schedule tasks and distribute them intelligently to your computer farm or compute farm to work in parallel. PDG for games. Simon Vestoretti. Epic 2022. That might be something to watch. There's going to be a lot of interesting things going on here. Describe large parts of your pipeline to ensure that assets are being loaded, processed, and saved out efficiently. The fine-grained dependencies can ensure a minimum of compute upon given the change. The TOPS node can play a number of different roles that will replace manual labor and scripts that can bog down a complex studio pipeline. You can even set up top networks that fetch other top networks to create multiple levels of abstraction within your pipeline. For game dev, Houdini digital assets can already be created to work inside game engines such as Unity or UE4. You can set up visual procedural systems that capture the relationship between various assets rather than treating each asset as independent from the others. When change is made to a part of a level, PDG can figure out which terrain tile, vegetation assets, roads, and buildings are affected and make sure that only those are updated in parallel without recooking the whole level. Yeah. That is going to be awesome. We need to check this out.
So here, this is an environment that's completely generated procedurally. And we see many elements in here. We see, terrain, we see vegetation, there's a little tower perched up there, the road. In the distance, we see an airport, and even, things like bridges and tunnels and so forth, okay? So Houdini Engine is certainly capable of generating all of these things, and that's great, but today it still has one significant drawback. And that is that it considers all these elements as individual assets and that are totally independent. So by that I mean, if you want a different terrain tile, you go select it, and the interface pops up. You go to sliders, and you get a different terrain. If you want a different version of that road, you grab the road curve, you move it, and you get a different road. Okay, that's all well and great. It's way better than modeling this stuff manually. But in reality, it's still not capturing the fact that these things really have a relationship with each other. Yeah. By that I mean, if I move the road and the road is now kind of cutting into the terrain, shouldn't the terrain be deformed, right? In response?
For that? Yeah.
And if I move that road and it's now kind of floating in the air, maybe we should put in, this bridge support here, right?
Yeah.
And for vegetation and stuff like that, I shouldn't be scattering that stuff onto the terrain until after the deformation is complete. Okay? So today, these dependencies aren't really captured by Houdini Engine itself. To capture these dependencies,
I need to get one of those back straight
create this custom system
like
to do
constant
that.
great
And that comes
posture.
at great time and expense. Or
We need
if you don't have
constant
the
great
budget and time to
posture
do that, you just end up not doing it at all.
tell you what,
and in
I'm
which
getting
case,
tired.
you end
I'm
up
like
with a
feeling the
really messy
slouch.
workflow problem where you have a couple
like
hundreds
feeling
of
the
these things
slouch.
scattered in your level, and you have to go and pick out each one of those things and work on them one by one. And that is, really not efficient from a workflow standpoint, nor a computation standpoint, and it's just really, really error prone. Okay?
Yes.
So with the advent of PDG, what we can now do is really create, for the first time, visual procedural systems that can really take all these elements together and consider them holistically together and capture the relationships. And we can do it, of course, with, as you might guess, a PDG graph. So here is one that is really going to describe the relationship between all these elements, the terrain and roads and bridges and tunnels and rocks and plants, and how these things all interrelate to each other. And we don't have time right now to get into the specifics of the details of this, but don't worry about it, because Kenny Lammers and from Indie Pixel is going to be creating a full-fledged set of tutorials showing you step-by-step how we put something like this together. And I'll quickly mention that all of the nodes here are just stock nodes. So everything you're about to see in the next slide, you can achieve this completely, without having to write any code at all. Okay, so let's take a look at what this actually looks like once we have built these relationships. So here I'm going to just kind of grab this road here, I'm going to move it up, and right away you're going to notice that only the two terrain tiles where that move actually happened was actually impacted. The rest of the environment, wasn't touched at all. Notice also the sequencing. The road was computed first, followed by the terrain tile, followed by the scattering, right? And notice also there's a bridge there now where there was none before.
That was really quick, pretty quick too, guys.
So we got the automation, we got the right sequencing, and also we're getting the scale here, right? So these two terrain tiles are actually being computed at the same time in parallel.
It is
So we're
pretty
getting that
slow.
parallelism as
Still.
well. We are, not doing other
pretty
stuff just
slow.
for clarity here, so you can see what's happening. But in fact, while this is happening, I can go grab another piece of road. I can do all kinds of other stuff, and work completely asynchronously, and the system will just kind of keep on delivering. And then one last point, you might notice that that bridge there that just popped up, to Scott's earlier point about dynamic versus static, here is a very dynamic situation. When we first looked at this thing here, there was no bridge. And when the curve was moved, all of a sudden there was one. So whether there's a bridge or not really depends on whether what the user actually did, right? And we can't know that until he's actually finished placing the road, okay? So the other really nice thing about this is that everything you're seeing here it just happens to use Houdini engine stuff. It's not limited to Houdini engine. So in that graph previously, I could have just putting any kind of custom nodes in there, and it would just work just the same, okay? So anything that involves asynchronous compute, anything that involves automation and scaling, you can basically achieve it with the same in the same way, basically with PDG.
Okay. So let's learn how to incorporate foundation, build a city with PDD, PDG, intermediate, Houdini Tech Talk, command change. I'm just trying to see even how to incorporate it. Create a city grid, generate and display work items. I think we're watching this. Yeah, this guy's great.
Building. You want an image file by tracing an image file that includes a black and white image of a city map.
Okay.
With the city grid, you can break out the city grid.
How does he even set
With
that
the city
up?
grid,
He goes in here and he just clicks a button. So he has a geometry import.
grid.
Colloquio scandular.
With the city grid,
But see all this $hip stuff that confuses me.
Grid, you can break out the city blocks, which will be used later to generate buildings. To create the buildings, you want to get a fixed base height and a random height variation so that your buildings are not all the same size.
So how does
Next,
he
use a
even
rough geometry
create
node
this?
to create a procedural building.
Dude, look, he made that way quicker than the other guy. Just by poly extruding. Oh, it's probably... So how does he even create these?
Of tops to meet your production.
So maybe he's just giving the introduction. I'm going to try to skim through these to see what I can learn as quick as possible. So file new is creating a new.
Enter to place it at the origin. Here. Currently it's tracing us.
Super loud. Giving me a headache. Come on, buddy. My computer can't handle it. Come on, buddy. Come on. I think we need more art on our screen, chat. What do you think? Like, I feel like all this stuff surrounding me in this digital space needs to look a little bit prettier. I'm thinking about adding Judah and Friends in here, so it's kind of like another way to advertise it. People come in, they see it. But I don't know if I should place it at the bottom or at the top. Come on. Don't tell me that I done a thing. Let's just restart all of this. Okay, that was fine, but it's pooping here. Why did I even skip forward? I don't want to watch all this. How long is this? It's only a minute long. It's not bad. Now that city grids can break out the different city blocks into separate work items. Let's just get out of here. What are these? Are his specific oldest? Feature, learning path. Let's go back to that specific thing. I mean, they're not that long. But I done goofed it up. Now it's like, can't handle it.
So we'll go
there we go.
One and accept.
I think someone must have been using the internet
tab,
or something.
Trace to put down a trace node. Press enter to place it at the origin. Currently it's tracing a circle. Let's double click and we can go and
oh, you can put an image
input, and we're going to go into that texture directory from there and import that in. Now we have a city grid. We're going to set it to 500 by 500.
Probably rotate it flat.
Size to scale. We're going to rotate it -90 and set the actual scale to 100 and 100. The scale to size is the size that gets traced.
It's interesting.
So
like they look sharp, but
once we
closer they're like little wobbly. So
you can do a reverse. You know, the surfaces are all dark, which means that the normals are facing the wrong way. So we want to fix that. Now we're also noticing there's lots and lots of points on this. We might want a little more separation between points, so we're going to go resample, and we'll set the resample length to.
So how's everybody's Friday going?
1 meter or 1 unit, and that puts a little bit more of a space between there. So now we have this prepared. We're going to put a null object down here, and then we can start to process this using tops and PDG.
What is the point? Copy input. Input will still be cooked if disabled. I don't get the point of a null object. What is the point of a null node. It acts simply as a placeholder to make wiring networks easier or to allow you to reference a single output SOP without having to output all the reference to it if the real output SOP changes. I don't understand what that means at all. All right, let's keep going, chat.
Use tops to generate
trugging along.
Work items. So we start by going to the geometry level, where we're going to just name this network as street grid, and we're going to use the tab key and put down a top network.
Okay.
Here in the network editor. We're now going to split the pane left and right. And we're going to do this for a particular reason, so we can focus on two different networks at the same time. So we're going to dive into the top net here, and you notice that there's a pin icon on the top of that. So we're going to pin this one as well. So these two won't navigate up and down as we work with the scene. We can just choose which one we want to work with by clicking on that pad. So in
what? It is currently I can make you some lunch. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta make the kids some lunch. Yes, I can make you. I'll be right back, guys.
I could never serve the passion or the fire or the man off a sight how I am. Ain't nobody asking, I'll be basking in my liberty, cause slavery is real. Doesn't mean the shackles gotta be revealed. Fighting with my pen, it's the closest thing to steal, and it's what they wanna steal. There's value in the word, gotta figure out the real. Been juggling and wrestling thoughts in my mind. The influence was heavy, all the thoughts even mine. Label still persuading like I'm needing a dime. Like my people ain't be dying over gold in the mines. It's funny, right? I'm still numb to the trauma. I couldn't tell if my joy was out of love or what would haunt me when I needed me a hug. That's the realest. Yeah, that's the closest thing to feeling. Yeah, it's the only thing revealing. Trying to get me closer to the Lord, cause maybe he can open up some doors while these words get to show you all my flaws. It's poetry and pain, blessing in the chain, pictures I could paint. Yeah, it's poetry and pain, blessings in the chain, pictures I could paint. Yeah, it's poetry and pain, blessing in the chain, pictures I could paint. Yeah, it's poetry and pain, blessings in the chain, pictures I could paint. Now I've been calling, been stalling, been falling, we go again.
All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had to make my kid some chicken nuggets. Ugh. How's everyone doing?
Top network, we're going to add a geometry import node. There's already a local scheduler, which is, we'll talk about a little bit later. We're going to use a SOP node as a geometry import, and we're going to go get the city block out from before.
Hey, Ria, how's it going? How's your Friday?
Grab primitives. And once we have that, let's name that city.
Let's see, he makes SOP. He does a geometry node to import it in there. So let's go ahead and exit out of that. Top network. Right. World. See. I don't know what we're gonna call this, guys. Good day so far. Been keeping busy. Ooh, doing what? What chore are you doing today? Are you working on another scene? So this guy had a cool little thing. He did an object import or import geometry imports. Boom. And he's able to get the flag here. But I think it's an error to grab it specifically from this program. So we got to go into, we can't even do that. During cook. Let's see what he does.
Blocks. And we're going to press play here. Now once we do that, we get all the
no upstream item cannot use upstream result geometry source. Invalid. Been up since 5:30. Laundry and grocery shopping. Sheesh. You know, I never knew grocery shopping could be so what's the word? Tiring until I became old, and then I realized that you know you're old when your way of getting out and seeing the world is going to your local grocery store. Pretty sad. Mr. Charlie. Hey, I'll be right back. My brother's calling me. And no time for Blender yet. Aw. Sorry, hold up. Well, they're fine. Just throw them in right now. We just only put them in for like 5-6 minutes. The children. Yeah, hopefully here in the future. I know it sounds bad, but I kind of want them to go back to school so I can focus on this. Right now it's all make me lunch, and that's all fine, but we have a lot of work to do here. And running up and down that flight of stairs is not becoming easier.
press play here.
But you say you have no time for Blender yet. When do you usually like get on to Blender?
Now once we do that, play that.
So how does he?
And primitive from before. Node as a geometry import. There's already a local scheduler, which is, we'll talk about a little bit later.
Okay, so he just uses a SOP node. But he kind of does it.
To use a SOP node as a geometry import, and we're going to go get
city block out. Okay, so he uses the null, a reference to the null. So in here, instead of doing an output, he does like a null, which is interesting. World out. Boom. And in here we can do collision, or actually we can do null. Let's see if this works. World collision out. Ria says, usually later in the evening or morning if I get up early enough. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's nice to wake up like with a cup of coffee, work on some stuff. You know, just sit there, listen to some music, and just vibe with yourself. I haven't been able to do that for like 3 weeks because of holidays. I swear, man, when I was a kid, it felt like I was always at school. Not that I'm an adult and I have a kid. It feels like they're never at school. It's funny how those things change. Oh, wow. Hold up, guys. I gotta fix this. Boom. Wasn't clear enough. I hate how it does that. I gotta find a way to fix that. But he has these out. We're going to go into the object. Bloop. Bloop. Come into here. We're going to do world out to reference that specific instance. But from what we saw that yesterday, this seems like it might be illegal.
And we're going to grab.
Okay, so he grabs the primitive. So in the data extraction element. Did you get to watch more videos about Houdini yesterday? Sadly, I didn't. I got off. I had to clean up the room a bit. Then we had to go to the grocery store. We bought some groceries. I'm going to make some more chicken noodle soup here soon because it lasts a long time, and I'm trying to find a way to lengthen our meals to save us a little money. But we got pizza last night because it was relatively late when we got back. And I ate, and you know what? I fell asleep because I don't know what it is with me, but anytime I eat, I get tired.
Name that city blocks. And we're going to press play here.
So now that he has all this, he can select play. Oh, wow. Shoot, so it's getting how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many pages are there? How many pages are in this thing? There's no way there's that many. Well, I think now that those are fused, we should have just one, right? And I kind of feel like maybe we should split this and do what he's kind of done here as well. Let's get rid of this subnet, come in here. Because cache input. Honestly, we could delete group, delete. What, can I just say these? We'll do that, and then any. We can delete all these groups. Do I have to come in here and specifically name these? I wish I could just say all. But it looks like we can get access and use Vex expression maybe to actually do that thing we wanted, where we can kind of cycle between different models. But that would involve us having to get really involved with everything. Let's go ahead and delete all these as well over here. I don't even think beveled edges is a thing over here. We have all the names, and that's about it. Oh, collision. Geo. We don't want to get rid of the collision geo. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the channel. We're currently learning about... what is it? PCG? Procedural... PDG. Procedural data graphs, I think it's called.
And once we do that, we get all these little tasks. So each block within the city became a separate task.
So each block within the city became a separate task. But why do I have so many tasks? This is ridiculous. He doesn't even have like the little scrolly thing. I'm literally getting a task for every city. This should be coming out as one entire mesh, right? We fused it. We've cleaned it. We've grouped it to get the bevel edge, right? Then we poly bevel this. And then maybe we should fuse again. I don't know. Or merge again. But it should just be passing us one entire thing. Copy input will be cooked if disabled. I mean, we delete all the edges here. It does 5,886 items. I think that's what the green thing means. But why? Cancels the current task. Cancel. Can I not cancel? I can't believe it's doing this many. Can I watch this? Or if we click play when we do that? I guess it's already done it. That's interesting though. We're doing primitive, so it should just get the whole entire thing. At include points from primitive, each element specified group. Maybe if we specify the group, we've kind of deleted all the groups here. Maybe if we fuse this afterwards, we can make a group and then use that. I don't know. I don't know if we want to fuse after we've triangulated. So Position attribute. Okay. So here you can, it's not about making a group. You could specify a group to work with. Group. Group 2. Primitives. Finished world. Shower. Pinker, I did shower, dude. I showered this morning. You think I just never take baths, bro? Do I look like a guy who never takes a shower or brushes his teeth? Cares about his personal hygiene? How's it going, Pinker? Welcome to the channel, my friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Specified group. Specified all groups. I mean, realistically, we've kind of deleted upstream item index, flatten indice. We're grabbing a primitive. We want to copy the attributes. And here you can get the specific name of all those things. But how do you know, we should have done that here at the merge. You know, we copy all these to points. We merge them all here at this junction. Right? At least I want to say. But even after that, we fuse all these together, right? So after we fuse them together, we clean them up. We do a group to get hard edges. Bevel, I guess what? Bevel, hard edges. Everyone loves case for some weird, ridiculous reason. Must camel case everything. Create world group. I don't know if this is finished world. Yep. And look, it triangulates all of it still, which indicates to me that we did get it. So after that, honestly, what we should do is create the world after this. Let's not select anything here. Bring this outside. Put that in. Okay, primitives, group delete. We delete everything else, and then we out the world, besides finished group. Output selection. I don't know if that's what we want. Guess from... Why would we want to output anything? Are we outputting all the stuff we've deleted here? Create world groups, ed selection. That's interesting, because even in here, we get these. Create worlds group, ed selection. But we don't want to delete. Oh, okay, so that's kind of like a underpath there. Can I re-grab this now? Invalid group. Oh yeah. Yes. So now we're getting one. We get our one singular group. But honestly, maybe we should get them all. And then... No, we just get the world. Because after that, we can... That's interesting that you can do it this way. But what we could do... let's just keep watching the video. He gets all of his city blocks here.
One of them got generated as an individual file. So if you middle click on here, you can start to get a sense for that. You can click on different ones, tell you what the point count is, tell you what the index is, and it's information that can be used later on. We can also view one of the work items. So here's an example of one of the city blocks sort of sitting on its own.
That's cool.
We can also view this. We have the local scheduler, and we're going to do it a little faster because we're going to use more of the cores on this machine.
And I think this is more to make it, it's not that it offloads this. Yeah, it's more of like it's an editor thing, it feels like. It's not really like...
So we've got the work item viewer. And what this is going to be is just a file node. So if we double click into there, there's a file node. And if we wanted to, we could say, well, go get the, go to the geometry, geo, and let's get that file. And it's currently numbered, so you can sort of see it in relation to time. What we're going to do is add a color node down. We'll color it yellow so we can see what's being visualized here in this 3D view. And we'll make that red. So one of the blocks is currently there, and if we went on the timeline, you'd see that all the other ones are there, currently set up based on time. But we don't want to use time as the indicator for this. What we would like to do instead is to have it come from the top network. So we're going to go back to the file node. We're going to change this to
sorry guys,
at pdg underscore output, and then another backslash. Now currently it's not doing anything. We have to click on one of the work items here in the PDG view, and then it will display.
So, hold up. I gotta see what's going on. What happened, sweetie? I hear my kid screaming, and it's because she accidentally poured lava in her Minecraft house. I thought it's because she dropped something.
Now we're going to add attributes to help set the height of the buildings down the line. So this will be done using a...
So PDG output.
Attribute create node, top node, which we're going to feed into the system here, set the display flag. And this will allow us to add attributes to every of one of the city blocks. So we're going to bring the blocks in, the upstream items, and we're going to assign them attributes. So the first attribute we're going to assign is just the base height. And in this case, we're going to assign it equally to all of them. So every building will have a base height of 10 units.
Can you just do rand there?
Once we have that, we're going to add the plus sign. This adds a second one. We're going to call it height underscore variation. And this will give us different heights based on
a
random values. We're going to type an expression in here, and we're going to take the PDG index. So each task item has an index, and then we're going to use that to go times 20. So it'll go from 0 to 20 based on that. And once we cook that, so if we go and we cook that, you can middle click and see a base height and a height variation for each one of the work items. And we'll use that next step.
Okay. I don't know if we need to go this
Now we're
in
gonna
depth
create
with
the
it, but I would like to
buildings,
learn how to use top
all the different
nodes so we
blocks.
can kind of start
We're gonna
doing a
do
little
that
bit
by
more
putting
with
down
what we
a
have.
block geometry output node. And this will allow us to create each building individually based on the city block that it's attached to. So we're going to give it a name here, and then the first thing we want to do is we want to generate. So we're not going to cook it because there's nothing inside it. What we're going to do is we're going to generate this. So we right click and we say generate node. And all this does is, so save and continue. So all this does is, you notice the dots are now gray instead of green. So all that means is that it's waiting for something to get cooked, but it actually hasn't been cooked yet. That's why we're getting an error here when we select one of these, because nothing's happened yet. But if we double click to go in, we can start to, the particular work item that we've chosen is available for us to start working. So we're going to put a poly extrude node down and right in there. And you'll see there's the block over in the corner there. And we're going to do a block offset. So this will be, we're going to take the block and we're going to insert that, inset that in to create the sort of sidewalk and ultimately the profile for the building. Now we don't need the sidewalk part, so we're going to turn off output side, and we're only going to have the other part, which is the output front. And that creates the profile of the building, which will now extrude to create the building itself. So next we're going to put down a fuse, just in case there's some points near the corners that are too close to each other. To get rid of any confusion there, we're going to do a fuse, and that should give us a better result in a case of a weird city block. Now we're going to poly extrude again, and this time we can create the building height. And this is where what we're going to do is, under distance, we're going to put an expression in here that actually takes advantage of those attributes we just built in the step before. So we're going to go at base height plus at height variation, and that will give us a particular height, and that height is based on the information provided by the attributes up above. So this particular one's got some good height there. Now the next thing we want to do is we're going to copy the parameter. We're going to put the height into the relative reference into the divisions, and we're going to take that height and divide by 2. And because of that, we have a little 1 there, we don't want that 1. Because of that, we'll get basically a different floor at every 2 units that we'll be using for that building. So that's good. Now in this case here, we can output groups for different parts. So the top of the building we're going to call building underscore top, and the side group we can give that a name as well, and that one we'll specifically call the building side. And that can be used as we go to do our next steps, which is to add detail to this building. We're going to put another poly extrude down, put that into the network here. And in this case, we don't want to poly extrude everything, so we're going to do the window frames. So this will be another offset. And what we'll do is we'll start by selecting the group here, which is the building side.
That was a nice.
And then we can set an inset value of 0.05.
And he can...
And we're going to do it based on individual elements, so each window gets its own frame. And the front group is actually the window out, so those are the individual window panes, and we'll be using those in the next step. So we're going to do another poly extrude, And by doing these groups and pulling on the groups, that keeps it procedural, so that later if we increase the size of the building, add more floors, everything will work properly. So now we're going to take those windows and we're going to poly extrude them back to create a little bit of depth there. And you can see that if we get close. We got to set the display flag here, but there we go. So now we've got these window frames and the windows are sort of set back a little bit. And that's perfect. That's what we're looking for. Now, once we have that,
they're just not uniform.
We keep going, take advantage of the different groups to add more details. So we're going to poly extrude
the top part.
And in this case, we're going to do the extend the roof. So way back earlier, we did the building top. So we're only going to use the building top, and we're going to go up 0.5. And you'll see we get a little bit of a extended roof up there at the top. We can continue to work on that because what we want to do is add some inset to create the parapet at the top. So we're going to call this the roof edge. And in this case, we're still only working with the building top, so that'll just carry forward. So we're going to put a inset of 0.
I wish you would rotate the camera so I can look at it. Thank you.
And we set the display flag. You'll see, okay, that's there. And then we do
carries
one more
forward.
to push it down to create the parapet. But this time we'll do the front group. We'll just call this the roof out.
And then you can extrude that in, right?
Add another poly extrude node into the mix.
So poly extrude can
up here we're
inset
the roof out
and extrude.
We'll go in the negative direction. Push it back negative 0.25. And if we set the display flag, there we go, we get the parapet at the top. So there we go, we've created the essence of our building. And if we want to add a little more detail, what we can do is tab and put that color node. And in this case here, we're going to set it to a dark gray, and we're going to assign it to only the windows out. And there we go. So we've got a light gray building with these dark gray windows. So now if we go back up to this level, where we generated things,
clicks play,
and if we want to, we can, well, before we do that, let's set up the output file with a name. So we're going to go, in the name, we're going to put the PDG index in there. And the reason we're going to do that is that way we can differentiate the different buildings when we find them on disk. So it's important to add that into your output file path. And we're going to write files, save our file, save what we've done so far, and then it's just a matter of clicking on here and cooking.
It's already 12:21.
You see it churns through that fairly quickly.
Not really.
It's doing about 19 tasks at a time, so 58 are done and 15 are on the go, and then we're done. We got a check mark to say yes, all of that's produced. So we're going to get rid of the color there because we don't need that anymore. And we select one of those there, and you come over, and there is the building. So it is a direct result of the height and height variation assigned to those different places.
That's sick, though. I love how quick and efficient this man is. He really knows the software.
Take the individual buildings and combine them into a single geometry file. So here's the network of everything we've done so far. Now, one of the things we want to do is turn on something called PDG services. This is something that actually allows PDG to run and tops to run a little faster. And what you do is when you select the node, you can choose what's called the cook type. And right now we have out of process, and you can go to service. If you do that, and then you sort of dirty and cook those nodes, let's save that. So if you dirty and cook the nodes and you rerun them, you'll find them a little snappier than what we had before. So dirty this node, select this one, so display, cook. And save and continue. And you'll see it's just motoring through that much faster than what we had before. So the services are something to look into as a way of speeding up what you're doing. And there we go. So there's all our buildings. So now we have them as individual buildings. What we want to do is bring them together into a single city block. So we can put down a node called wait for all, which basically says wait for all these individual pieces and let's combine them into a single entity.
Okay, so it's like a merge.
Now once you have that,
because I was to say, why wait for them all? It doesn't matter. You have literally one hierarchy tree or whatever you want to call them.
So
lane,
that's going to
I would say.
That to disk, and then you're going to want to import that in. So this is just, we're going to call this building merge. So
I guess he's actually going to.
On this one, we're just going to say each upstream item is cooked, and import and merge all geometry. And there we go. And now if we save and continue with that, it combines it, and when I click on that, I have the whole city block. So that's how I can bring all of that together into a single block. Now, earlier
it does
when
do
we
it
set up these
relatively
height
quick.
variations, we set the multiplied by 20 to get the height variation. What we can do here is maybe go by 15. Just dirty this node. And then we cook. Save and continue.
There needs to be something
This
quicker,
finishes,
but I guess
we
it
will
depends
have
on how far you want to
just a
go in the.
Now,
in
if
line
you
with
want to
that.
influence not all of the buildings, but just some of them, another option we can do is to use some attribute transfer to say, well, let's put a city core off to one side. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a sphere. Well, first we're going to add color into the nodes we have, and we will make those. Let's make those black. It's easy to so they're basically have no value. So if we multiply the color by this, they don't add anything. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bring in some color on one of the channels, on the green channel, and we'll use that to make the buildings taller in the city core area. So we're going to make a sphere and just call this a polygon and scale it to 5. Now add a color, and the color for this we're going to make green.
Green.
And so it's going to have 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. So RGB, so the green is 1. And this is our transfer color. We're going to transfer this to the city grid. This is our base color, which has a value of 0.
Can you guys hear my stomach grumbling?
So attribute transfer is the way that we're going to get it from the one to the other. So we're transferring the green color. And what we want to do is just write primitives, and we're just going to do CD. So we've already got that. We want to set the distance threshold to 0, but have a really big blend width. So you see how it blends nicely. So some of them have full green and some of them have variations. So they're tapering on the city core.
Excuse me. Bless me.
Now, in order to get this to work, we need this equation here, and we need to plus at the CD.
No, but you should have some lunch. Just
times 30.
Eating is a waste of time.
We're going to make the buildings taller.
But you're not wrong. I should have some lunch.
And that can be used in the processing of this node.
Or he just adds it.
If we go back to here, so we see the city as it is, and we're going to save and continue. It motors through that, and it gets us our city with a city core right there in the center.
Huh.
Now we're going to do something interesting. We're going to take that sphere. We're
So you're going to randomize?
We're going to move it over into the corner here. Now what this means is that some city blocks will have changed their attributes and some will not. So watch what happens when we go to the create building and we say generate nodes. Anything that has been untouched is still green. In other words, job done. We're ready to go. And only those that are affected by the change that we just made
I should.
need to be recooked.
I really should get like some granola bars.
Need to be recooked.
It's just I feel like
the efficiencies of PDG. Is
I don't know,
it's
man.
its dependencies
just
to
so much
for
work
it
that I gotta get
to
done.
process them efficiently.
When
And so if
I
we
already
say
spent so much
do
time
recook,
recently making lunch for the
that's
kids,
14.
it's hard for me to
back there
think about myself, especially when I need to
and set the display on here and
get
then
all
set
this
the
work
speed.
done. But I don't say that like all sad, like
So that's the power of
you know. That's just logically how I think. I can
Next
eat
step
when
is
I'm
to
dead,
isolate one of the buildings and give it
or late
a
at night.
specific height. So to
But
do
I might
that, we need
actually
to
go
find
make myself
which
a quick little,
polygon,
go grab a
in
quick
other words,
snack.
which city block that we would like to actually isolate. So if we look at the original street grid and we turn on primitive numbers, we
Yeah,
can
we
go
have.
through and sort of get a sense of which block has which number. And so we're going to go into this area here. Let's tumble so that we can look down more from the top. And that should give us an idea of which one that we want to do. So we go down, we go in, and we go, okay, let's do this one, number 24. So we're going to use block number 24. We're going to specifically assign that a value for height. So
And then
we're
he
gonna
can
drag the
actually do
existing
wait for
attribute
all.
create node, and we're going to create a new one. We're going to go create when at p primitive offset equals
That's a lot of equal signs.
equals 24. And once we have that, what we can do is we can look at this, delete the channel for height variation. We'll just set that to 0. And we'll set the base height for this particular polygon to 50. So it's going to already have all the information we need to create a building of exactly 50 units. No matter what else is going on in the system, that one polygon will work that way. And if we save and continue and cook the results, and we click down here, we'll see that there's that one building on lot number 25, and it is exactly 50 units tall. So you have that individual control over things if you want to override the system that you built. Okay, the next step is to create some wedges of the city core location so we can try it out in different random places. The first step is going to be to take this part of the network here and collapse that into a Houdini digital asset.
So this kind of gets the geometry import of this. Can I also do specified group? Do I need to do that and then say, what is this? World collision out, group delete. Let's create a group. Boom, boom. Create. And in here, we're just going to call this collision geo. I mean, we can just copy that because we've already created it. I just realized that we already created the collision geo here. So with that being done, we just copy, and then in here, I guess do that too. And then we dirty this node and recook it. Invalid group. all groups. Group name, finish world, but that's because we're specifically grabbing from the world out. Can we also do world collision? We can. Level wave that, but we can't do that. But we can create two collision outs here. Primitive, all group, specified group. All right, now we have both the collision and that. But we can offload these. So what happens is we create this, or we run this. This gets run, and then we create this and this. So let's try to do that really quick. So let's delete one of these. And then in here, let's... How do you slice this? Cut connection. Connection. Wiring. How do you cut it? Create, insert, disconnect wires. I mean, I guess I could just do that. Yeah, let's do a null here, because I want to look into... We can get rid of these, because we're going to essentially do all this in the PDG. Even though there's like 5,000 things going on. We gotta make sure that it's big and fancy. So when we run this, I guess in the data extraction, we want to do all groups, primitive, source, SOP. We should get all these. But yet we're not getting anything. Storage, data extraction, primitives, all groups, each element and specify groups. I guess we're just getting the name. But if we go, yeah. Copy to point, source group, all this, piece attribute, we give it a name. Or we create a name for each one of it. Probably want to delete all the other stuff, but I'm not too concerned about that. Upstream item index. The source, SOP node, upstream output file. Time dependency, no, it's not creating anything. The whole point is that it gets all these and then we merge them all together, right? We do this, we come to here. But when we do this, it worked fine. I wonder why that is. Geometry combined. We don't want that. We want this. Let's just redo the geometry. Right now it's set to each element. I mean, it already does it. It doesn't do each one. Is it because these already like... That's crazy. Maybe if we do... Because we create all these attributes here. Piece attribute at name. And then maybe we create... Should go and create each one of these little doodads. But I guess once you copy to the point, it just kind of does it already. And maybe I'm thinking like, oh, the copy to point is the thing. Maybe I'm doing too much work for myself, but I guess we'll find out. We gotta learn all this stuff. Storage, copy attributes. Oh, you know what it is? Primitive, each element. Let's rerun that. And there we go. We weren't selecting primitive, but now we are. Ah! It scared the crap out of me. Where was it that he did the scheduler?
Want to import the geometry. So
all right, buddy,
that's going to
we're gonna
save
need 1080p
to disk, and then you're going to want to import that in. So this is just, we're going to call this building merge. We've already got it blends now. We need to...
That scared the crap out of me, yeah. Where does he set the task? I know he sets it somewhere, but he's doing other cool stuff. We've gotten to that. Create buildings for city grid. Maybe it's in here. He does that where he's like,
in
oh,
the
it's
name,
snappy.
we're going to put the P, add that into your... Set it to a dark mode. Back up to this level, and where we generated things. And if we want to, we can...
So that's in a raw geometry output. He just does the index from there.
Add that into...
So output, like if we were to go to storage, external, I mean, I guess we already have the outputs getting placed in here. But I do know that somewhere he did something to make everything a little bit more snappier. And that was by
58 are done.
Oh, cook type out of process. But that's, so it's done in a geometry. What is these called? ROP geometry output. Service. Cache mode. Let's just figure this out. And then in the $sign here, he does this and he goes at PDG index or something like that. Is that what it is? Storage. Yeah, he does. What a stinker. I just want to make sure I copy everything else out. Come on. Give me the things that I want. Boom. Yeah, what the heck? Is that a tilde? Okay, it's a tilde. It is a tilde. A Matilda.
And 15 are on the go.
This has got to be the one where he's like...
Plus, at the CD, that
is
do
where he...
that services, and where it says you're replaying through that. There we go. Basically says wait for all these individual.
So we don't even have to do that. We gotta go wait for all. And then here, wait for all the things to be made. And then first work items frame, merge attributes. From first operation to attributes. I don't know. How does he go in to see this specifically? Maybe he does this, or does this, or does this. But after that, can't even see where it is. Local variable BTG input not found. So I did it wrong. Okay. Okay. Which is interesting. All right, let's go back.
And 50 output file. Assign it to only the Win.2 and we'll building, and we're gonna
Look, see, he does do it. He does do it. Geometry file.
it's waiting, David, waiting for something to get cooked, but it actually hasn't been cooked yet. That's why we're getting an error, nothing inside it. What we're going to do is we're going to generate this. So we right click and we say generate node. And all this does is, so save and continue. So all this does is, you notice the dots are now gray instead of green. So all that means is that it's waiting for something to get cooked, but it actually hasn't been cooked yet. That's why we're getting an error here when we select one of these, because nothing's happened yet. But if we double click to go in, we can start to the particular work item.
Maybe we do the, I don't know, what was it, $F? F. Yeah. But then look, boom. But if we do that, fine. But not fine, because even outside externally, he's getting like the file, and it's probably because out here maybe we get rid of this. Copy. We do that and then the big ol' F. Just chugging along. So we are getting an error because the output is all tore up. Let's just remake this. Geometry output. But it's still getting that error. Looks like. No. Now it's fine. Oh, no, it's not fine. Invalid or empty node path referenced by target rope node. Frames for batch, script, output path. Don't we current render with take? What does he add in here at the beginning when he creates this? Okay, so he uses current use external SOP, which we don't need. Let's dirty and cook this node. Yeah. Okay. Now everything is happy. I don't see nothing. I see that. Awesome. We got all the things. It's telling me we don't have them. That's interesting. So I'm thinking we wait for all these to cook, then we pass them into here, but it merges all of them. Merge operation, advanced. Merge output file, all files. I want to view the work item. It's too long. But if I want to go here and view the work item, it's not too long, and it gives me a square. This is stupid. That's it. That's all it gives me. That's all it's giving me. I wonder why it is just giving me that. But if I go in here, we're getting the PDG input already. But, yeah, that's all we get is this. I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing this, but it is. Stop it. Maybe it's because I'm doing wait for all too quickly, and I'm merging them, which is what I did last time. I mean, I merged them all. I don't know. Let's regenerate. Oh my god. So yeah, in here now we still have a square. Why does it do this to me? Why does it treat me this way? What have I ever done to it? How did he merge his stuff together without it taking a dump on him?
So save it.
So he does a thing, he creates the things, but he's doing something to each individual
one of those
one, which we don't need because we've already handled that in this SOP or this geometry input. But now we want to import it. Combine the buildings. Yes, sir.
Individual pieces, and let's combine them into a single entity. So this is just, we're going to call this item is cooked. And
okay, so in the geometry import, so the output is where he does all the things, but we don't need the thing. What we need is to wait for all to be cooked. Right. All right, guys. Geometry import to here. You look like a person who cares about your personal hygiene. I was shower. You were shower? That's not right, man. Is that why they call you Pinker? And I am good. That's good to hear. How far back are you in the stream, Pinker? Oh, I felt like we talked about that eons ago. What happened? You just disappeared. Didn't even say bye, dude. Type of stuff is that, bro? Does this look like a stream you can just enter into and leave and enter into and leave? Because it is. It is one of those streams. It is one of those streams. All right. No, you're fine, man. I was shower. Oh, you took a shower, and yeah, that was long ago. I took shower. That's why. Oh, you took a long shower, man. What were you in there doing backflips? That will not happen again. Thank you. Good. And that is a warning to everyone else in the stream. No showers. Do not take care of yourself. You must sit here forever. I stole a shower. How'd you steal a shower? Oh, take a dive. He tried to take a dive. Okay. Was the dive fun or did it hurt? I feel like it would hurt. Yeah, unless you have one of those cool showers that are massive and it's like a giant pool. Like the really rich people have. So in here, import and merge all geometry. I'm just trying to see how he does this without just getting a square. Hey, there we are. Wait for all to cook. I don't know why this does this. Can I work? No, you can't on those. Good luck, man. I shall stay in the background. Okay, I appreciate you lurking, my friend. Thank you for being here. No, the drain was very dirty and it hurt. I would imagine. When I was a kid, I would dive into the bath, but what I would do is I would sit in like the bath, right? And I would like push myself against the where the spout is. I would push myself, so essentially I'd create this giant wave, and that's how I tortured my toys back then. I simulated tsunamis in my bathroom. It was amazing. View work in item input. So just so we know, we have this now, so we can do the rope geometry output, right? Boom. We come in here, boom, boom. And let's see if we can do all this, because we already have the merge. So let's see if we can do this and get an output at the end. I love how quick that works. Why did it disappear? 28. What is this? Why did it disappear? You know, it's probably because I have to go to here and recook. Generate the node. Bass tsunami? Okay, for real now. The lurk begins. It begins. Sounds good, my friend. So it looks like you have to do this for everything. And if we dirty this node and then cook this node, it's quicker. Let's see. It doesn't do the thing, though, chat. It doesn't do the thing. What errors are we getting? Says we have errors, and I want to know where. Invalid or empty node path referenced by target rope node. Oh, you know what it is? We got to use current and get rid of that, and then recook. Cook the node. And we're no longer getting that issue. Bump, 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 bump. You know, once this is all done, guys, then it's going to be a lot more interesting. You're like, oh my God, look at all the cool stuff you did. And I'll be like, yeah, I did. Do some pretty cool stuff. So it is working. Interesting. Let's look at the work item output. And we do have those bevels, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, Chase, how's it going, buddy? And that's fine, man. You can be as late as you want. I just appreciate you showing up, bro. How's the dream going, man? Also, how's the project? You said last we spoke you were doing animation and something else? We're still working on procedural generation, which might be a little bit too early in the project to do, but hey, we're working on world building. Honestly, the easier path though, chat, which I might revert to here in a bit, is just creating, you know, a base level, right? Just creating a base level people can run around in and grab stuff, and then, you know, using that until I can implement it in Coder Media. Hey there, what up? What's up, Coder Media? Welcome to the channel. I appreciate you being here. How you doing today? And I'm a little late. AI, it's nearly done. Okay, so you're doing animation and AI. So the enemy monsters. So are they like real people? Is it like a murder? Because you said it's like stuff that could happen in real life. So I'm assuming it's just like not the purge, because that doesn't happen in real life, but you get the point. Like just some dude trying to sneak in your house and take all your waffles, and then you got to summon the power of God to destroy them. Sorry, that was probably a little much, but it's what I would do. Geometry imports. Let's see, what would we call this? I don't know. Merge geometry. And with that being said, we can actually move this over here and come off to the side and create another rope geometry output node. And in here we can do the other process. Chase Lee, not sure yet. Have not started any modeling. Okay. So what are you working on, the main character's animation, or what animations are you working on? Is it UI? Or is it just like using the Unreal Mannequin? I think you said you're using Unreal, right? Coder Media says, I am modeling my protagonist right now as I'm watching this live. Sweet. Are you a part of the Discord, Coder Media? Because if so, I would love to see the finished protagonist, and I'm sure everyone else in the Discord would love to see it too. We have some great great talent in the stream currently, and they all share their stuff in the Discord. So if you want to join, links in the description of this video. Yeah, go ahead and join. Let us see it. I want to see it. If you have cool things, show the cool things. And by the way, when he joins, everyone, make sure to say hi. Player and AI animation, just been the mannequin so far. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to work with, but I don't know. I kind of work on what I want to work on. Right? Like if I want to do the character before I do anything else, like that's what I'm going to do. Is it the best way to do it? No. Is it the fun way to do it? Yes, because, you know, you got to do the stuff you want to work on. And of course there's some tasks where you're like, I don't really want to do that. But you do it anyways. Let's see. Rope fetch. We want to make this a service. We also want to come into here and say that we're not using the external SOP button here. We can finally delete this, right? We can delete this merge because we've essentially already done that. We drag this down and then copy and paste this in here. And by the way, let me know, Coder Media, if that Discord link works for you. I've had some people have issues in the past, but I don't think it should be a big problem. But yeah. And now we have the collision geometry for this. Right. Let's go back here. Let's recook this node. Save and continue. And then I think we got to do wait for all. Boom. Kind of do this. And I think we can cook from here, can't we? Cook node. And this should cook both of these things. I worked, however, there are no rules yet on the server. Yeah. So I made a little joke. I got to get that stuff done, obviously. I'm just really busy with the game. So, you know, when it comes to rules, they're the typical rules, right? Be nice to people. Don't be a jerk. Stuff like that. But everyone make sure to give a warm welcome to Coder Media. And yeah, so in order to post in the work and tell stuff here, right, make sure to go ahead and give yourself a role, and it needs to be a what you do role. I have to have a mean change that. He's Arabic, so he's learning English, which is perfectly fine, but it should be what do you do? Or, yeah, you get the point. Anyways, give yourself a role here, and you should be able to post in there immediately, as well as see all the other channels. But yeah, let's get back. I don't really want to merge these things, although we could merge them. What if more roles belong to me? Yeah, you can select all the roles you want, right? The only thing is that it will obviously put you in more slots, I believe. So if you consider yourself all the things, just call yourself maybe a developer. But if you're specifically an artist, or specifically a musician, or specifically a game tester, modeler and designer, okay, well, yeah, go ahead and give yourself all the roles. Give yourself all the things, my friend. That's the fun part about what we do as indie developers, right? Is we all wear multiple hats, and we're not given enough credit where the credit is due. Oh my god. Sorry, that was a little dramatic, but I don't know. I had an energy drink. I'll blame it on the energy drink. So we can delete these now. I mean, if we ever have to in the future, we can go ahead and grab it from this. But we don't want to merge. We don't want to merge these things. So let's dirty and cook this node again. Cooked, partitionized. We have two things here. Rope geometry fetch there, and 6. So I'm assuming we have 2 items. We should give these things a name though. And why is this getting an error? What is the error? Fuse, blast, this, and then this. What is wrong? Invalid source, wave collapse, dev, tools, world. Incoming. Input not found. Is it because we didn't set... We did set this, right? Rope fetch. We have the service. And we're still getting issues. Interesting. What about over here? Are we getting issues over here? Yes, we are. We are getting local variable. PDG input not found. And I think it's because we're no longer working off the PDG input over here, maybe. These are the index. We get all these. We travel down here. We get this data extraction. External file tag. So do I need to PDG index? What if I come in? You can't come into here. Yeah, let me know if you when you share it, and I'll check it out, or when I see a notification later, I'll check that out as well. Okay, man? Or miss. I know who I'm talking to. But warning, local variable TG not found. Error, please specify a geometry file. That is interesting because we were working just fine prior to that, right? We were working just fine. In fact, if we click this, we're fine. We click this, you know, maybe we're not fine over here. Let's select these and delete those. Let's recook this. Cook this node. Yes. And now we're fine. Interestingly enough, no, we're not fine. We're running into issues still. But it did work, right? We saw it working. But now we're having these issues where it's telling us that the file coming into here is not good. What about on this end? The same. Interesting. All we've done is merge the geometry, import and merge all, right? Then we're offloading this to bevel it and then create a collision geometry for it. And then I want to kind of bring them in here and then output both of them. Local scheduler. So I wonder as to what that could be. Like if we click, click here, we're not seeing anything. We click here, we're not seeing anything. This should work all fine. Why are we not seeing anything? What is going on? It was all working fine, and then it took a dump. Let's dirty this node and then cook it. Runs a lot quicker. Schedules. I can't believe it's 112 already. Why are we getting issues? This should not be a thing. Cook this, get that. I mean, it says everything's fine, right? Or if we cook this node and do that. Everything's fine. Except this one isn't doing exactly what it's supposed to do. The output should be this. Hold up. My brother's calling. Sorry, my brother keeps hitting me up to play games. I'm like, I'm working. Can't do that right now. It's interesting. So what does the yellow mean? I think the yellow means there's an issue, right? This one's cooked fine. Or maybe it's the one I've selected. Okay. Merge geometry. Then we come over here and we do all this. That's interesting. That the merge is only giving us this. Don't you think, chat? Oh, hey, it looks like you shared it. I'm turning this into a necklace. Kind of like the dollar ones rappers wear in the US. Yeah, this looks sick. Was that for, was that like the money currency? Really good, just like the symbol overall. But yeah, I don't know why we're getting this here. If we select this, we're not even seeing the individual parts, but we're merging them here. We get one singular point primitive. We have none. Primitive, merge, attribute, name, input file, storage, data extraction, edit, source. Yep, ruble. Okay. Yeah, is that ruble? Would you happen to be a Russian? Rubles. Rubles symbol. Rebels. Oh, true. That is a rebel. I was like, I've seen that before. Sorry, I am your typical ignorant American. What the heck? That's interesting. So it'll show me, I have to actually click in here and do the output. And then it'll show me that. If I click in here, it'll show me this. But for some strange reason, we're only getting this in here. Like, what's going on? That. Get this. This is not fun. If we merge all these together, come down here and we cook this node, and I believe we get errors. Or we get nothing. Oh, what it is it doesn't have these groups. There is none of these groups to delete. So let's just, okay. Well, I don't know if there's, what's it called, but I guess we learned a little bit about PDG. Oh man, I should learn to save more. Hopefully they have like an autosave feature. That would be nice. File, crash recovery, open crash file. The back of them was file was found. Do you want to restore it? Yes, I do. want to restore it. Classic crash. I know, nothing like a classic crash to really make you feel like you're alive. Apparently this is a puzzle that I got my stocking, but I can't figure out what the point of the puzzle is. I think it's to make a square? I don't know. Oh, hey. We have the stuff. Well, thank God it does the crash. It just didn't save all my stuff. Tasks. Top node. Local scheduler. What the hell is going on? Channel. Object. Wave collapse function. Ooh, so in here we have objects, which is this, and then we have our tools, right? Let's go back. Let's re-split this. Split plan, left and right. Go into here, and then let's do this. So when we, all right, so we do just have this now. Cool. Ruble. All right. I think we gotta recook all this. Yes, sir. Let's recook all the things. And they cook faster now. It merges the geometry, and then once the geometry merges, we get all the things. Okay. Everything is back in order. Let's save and see what we have here, which is probably absolutely nothing. Oh wait, no, we do have something. But we probably have overlaying geometry, because we're not getting two things here. We are not getting two things. All files, merge output, files, none. We don't want to merge these. Partition when generated, ignore failed, first work item. So we've selected it to not do anything, right? We have ropes, geometry 1, or it says we have 2, right? We have boom, boom, and boom. How do we output? Cook. Or actually, can I just... No, I can't. Maybe I can give these a name. Oh, but now we are having errors. The PGG input not found. Thank you for reminding me. It says everything's fine up here. Then you go in and it's like, nope. It's not working fine. Like if I click this or go like this. Okay. That works fine. This one's working fine now. Alright, I guess it lied to me. It just wanted to get me scared really quick. Maybe we have our collision geo. The collision geo. Right? I've always been interested in Houdini. Many people claim to be able to create levels in a much shorter amount of time. Perhaps it is my turn. Yeah, try it out. I mean, so you spend a lot of time creating the tool, but once you've created the tool, you can generate a lot of levels in a short amount of time, right? So it's about creating the tool that does that thing, and then once you've done that thing, then it's just like boom, 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 which is what we're trying to do here, essentially. Except I learned about PDGs recently, so I'm trying to... Essentially, it allows you to control tasks. When you manipulate certain aspects in a scene, it'll allow... instead of affecting, the entirety of the tool, it affects that specific part of the tool. So there'll be things that run, that'll regenerate, and other things that won't. So yeah, that's why we're doing this, or trying to figure it out. So then when we input this in, we can just do things quickly. And I'm trying to output essentially two, I'm trying to output two of these things. So what is the name of this? Cook info, index, num points, num primitives. See, there's a number of primitives here when it should just be one primitive. But I guess it's because of everything connected. Point count, frame, point number. Do we even get a name in here? We create a name. In here, when we copy the point, we give them a piece attribute of name. So each one of these have a name. What are we creating? Group 1. We make group 1 for no reason. So we blast all these out of the picture, and then we come in here, and then we do that. Sorry, so we are still learning Coder Media, so that's why things are taking a little bit longer than they should. But I'm hoping to get this in to try it, to see if it even works. And then after that, so let's continue watching what this guy does. Wedge city core location. In the beginning.
Now we're going to render out the four.
Let's I guess watch these in succession. But before we do that, we got to figure out how to end a PDG
set. This will allow us to reference it directly into the
so I guess we got to watch all
top
this.
network and then assign wedge values to it. Wedging being a technique where different values are explored, and then you review the results and see which one you like. So we're going to accept that as a digital asset. Now the digital asset is basically a network you take in Houdini, you collapse it, and you put the nodes inside. And then you can take certain parameters and promote them up. So we're going to do the image input. That can sphere.
So it's just essentially creating a tool where he can create
processor
these.
node, and we're going to reference that off disk. We're going to bring that in, and that's going to be how we get the map. Reference that off disk. We're going to bring that in node. We're going to put down a HDA processor node, and we're going to reference that off disk. We're going to bring that in, and that's going to be how we get the map. So we're going to go in and we're going to say use the upstream node for the city block geometry import instead of go to the SOP network. And then on the HDA processor, we're going to go and get the make street grid maker and accept that. And then on this fourth tab, all the parameters we promoted up are there for us to work with. So this is just an alternative way of getting sort of the same thing. Instead of getting it from the object level, we're getting it from a digital asset on disk. And then we can add a wedge node up above, and this will allow us to generate values that can be plugged into certain places on the digital asset to get it to do what we want. So we want a wedge count of 4, and we want a wedge attribute. We can have different kinds of attributes, but we're going to do one here called center underscore wedge. So that's going to be used, and it's going to be a float vector, and it's going to specifically plug into, we want random samples, and we want it to go from -50, -50, and 50, 50, or 0 and 50. And so that will give us a nice sort of range there to work with, and it doesn't matter what the fourth one is. So this is 4 values will get randomly spit out of the wedge node, and we can plug those into the digital asset. And we'll do that here.
Can you just drag and drop that there?
At center underscore wedge dot 0, and then at center underscore wedge dot 1. And we didn't spell that right, but that one actually won't matter because we're not worried about that one right now. But you don't even have to plug that one in because we're actually worried more about X and Z. So that should be center. If you're going to do it, center underscore wedge dot 1. So then once we get that, if we go and we cook that, you'll see that
Sventer.
We'll get 4 different maps. We'll turn off the original street grid and we'll just get these new ones. So there's one where the city core is there, one where it's there, one where it's there, and one where it's there. So we've created different alternative city cores that will feed into the system. And we're going to add something else in here because you can wedge more than things at the same time, and we're going to do a seed wedge, and this can be used in the network as well. And that's going to be...
That's interesting that he can use the wedge to do this.
1,000.
You could probably
random samples.
Expose these in the thing and then do more things.
You will be able to see where we plug that into here. So we're going to take that down to attribute create, and we're going to take that.
Using time, okay.
And we're going to multiply the index by the seed wedge, and that will give us different values in there.
Interesting.
It just controls the randomization of that a little bit, so we're not getting the same result in all 3 cases. So now we go to the HDA processor, and to get this to work, one of the things we need to do is we need to make sure the files being saved understand which wedge they come from. So there's a backtick at wedge num backtick dot, and that needs to go on all of the files we save, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to distinguish which of these comes from which system. So we're going to have to go down the chain here and sort of do this for a whole bunch of different there we go, storage there, so that's got to have it as well. We'll always put this after the index, and the geometry output, there we go, so we're going to put it in there as well.
You didn't put
needs to be a dot in there.
A dot? Really?
And use the geometry import. That needs to have it as well. So dot. We forgot to put the dot there, so yeah, good. And that also will be the building merge. That will also get this, because there'll be 4 different city blocks now instead of just the one. So we've got to use the wedge number to help distinguish between the different versions. So that's important there as well. And so instead of wait for all, we're now going to use a partition by attribute. And so in order to make sure the 4 streams, the 4 city blocks go to where they need to go, we're going to use wedge num as an attribute for partitioning the different streams of information coming down the network. So we save, and we select this, and we cook. It's going to go through. This will take a little longer because now we're not just doing one version of it, we're now doing 4 different versions of it. And now you'll see building merge actually has 4 different options. So there's 4 different cities.
I like how each time he clicks one, it works.
Solution. There's 1, there's 2.
Doesn't work for me.
There's 3.
It's probably because it's not
4.
on that grid.
And you control this using the wedge value up at the top, feeding through that digital asset, and that will create the results that we need. And there's the cities we've created. The next step is to add geometry for the streets and the city blocks to fit under our buildings. And the way we're going to do that is to take the city grid that we made at the beginning and use that to help us. So we'll put together another prop geometry node, and we're going to feed that street grid into there, and that will allow us to create the streets. So we're gonna
there's going to be a lot of learning here on the channel for this. But,
and in this
I appreciate
here,
you all being here. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It does help out a lot. And, once we hit 1,000, we're going to start having giveaways for things like Houdini.
At this point, we're only going to worry about creating 4 of them. We're not going to worry about breaking them apart into individual pieces.
So he uses the wedge as a way to create multiple.
Service.
Okay.
And we're going to generate, and you see there's only 4 options here based on the wedging. And we don't see them yet because they haven't been generated. But what we're going to do is we're going to go poly extrude.
Wow, that's insane. He literally made a whole city procedurally, yeah. And, in this specific example, he's got, he does this in less than an hour. So we got all the introductions. He starts here. So 3, we'll do 4 plus 2, 6 or 7. That's 13. And 13. So yeah, he does it in less than an hour.
Up a little bit. So we'll just do a distance of 0.05 in the negative direction.
Whew.
Let's turn the primitives off there. If we zoom in, we're going to see
some of this,
what we're looking for yet. Because we want to output the back, not the front. And output the side. Once we have that, we're going to put a reverse node down to get them to do what we want. And we're going to use the color. We're going to set a color so they're all just white. We don't need all the other colors that we were using for other purposes. We're also going to put in just a grid, or a small box rather. We're going to make it as big as the city, and then blast one of the edges. So we're doing it as a box because that will get us, that will allow us to use this bounding box trick. And then we're going to delete non-selected, and we're just going to leave primitive 2. And then once we have that, we can put a transform. Going to move it in the Y direction, -0.05, and that will put it underneath our city blocks.
So what is he gonna bool?
This one, and we're going to scale it 105, sorry, 1.05, and 1.05, and 1.05. Keep forgetting the dot, 1.05. We don't need to do that in Y, just in X and Z.
Just trying to give a little bit.
Once we got
around
that,
the buildings, I guess too.
Merge these back together. But first, we're going to add a color to make the streets a little darker than the rest of the. So we're going to make that 0.33, 0.33, 0.33. There we go. And then from there, we can merge it together to get the output that we need.
And by the way, guys, thank you all for watching and just being a part of the stream.
That's
We appreciate you.
what it looks like, and that we're gonna save that. We go back up to the top level. What we're gonna find is if we go into here and we 30 and cook the node, we're still getting 4 things, and that's perfect. And we'll use those a little bit down the line as we bring all this together. Now they don't look any different in this case because the city grids are the same in all cases, but we're going to do another example soon where the city grids look different in each 4 cases. So we're going to do again a partition by index, which there's 4 of them, so that'll pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. And we're going to feed the buildings in one side, and we've got the road.
BRB. Okay, Ria. See you when you're
Now,
back.
if we take this and we cook it, what we're going to find is that the result we get
So it's
is
not
going to
actual
look like the
pathing,
city, but
just-
the roads are not currently there yet. It's not there now. Sometimes it's not working quite there, and actually the reason is because the viewer pane is not looking at the right spot. We need to be looking at this at the object level for this to work. We were looking at the wrong network type. So now we've got that. There's our 4
Okay, so that's...
cities, and they're looking good, but we still don't have the streets. Why do we not have the streets? Well, the reason is because when you middle click on here, what you see is we can't read that right now. What we want to do is middle click on there, and what you see is that there are
Hey, Artem, welcome to the stream. How's it going, my
2
friend?
different versions of this, and what we want is we're going to need a second version of the viewer. So this second viewer, we'll just set it up slightly differently, and then both those pieces of geometry are going to get picked up. So in this case, we're going to go PG output .1. So the original one is .0, and this one is .1. So, because we didn't merge.
Going
all the
good. That's great to
together,
hear.
What we did was we created 2 different.
That's great to hear. What you been working on
One
recently,
for the
man?
city and one for the roads, and that's what we needed.
I'm just tired of gaming. I feel it. My brother keeps hitting me up to game. I gave him my laptop recently.
4 different
Or my
JPEG images.
laptop. So he's just like, you want a game, want a game, want a game? And it's like, I've got to get to work.
Feed into the system. So in this
I was
case,
more
we're gonna
gaming.
start with a
Oh,
wedge
okay.
count of
What game
1,
were you playing?
so we can figure this out. We're gonna go
Wait, so how does he get...
4. Now let's wedge 4 city
Wait,
maps.
let's look at what he did here towards the end. to get
So in
him.
this case, we're going to go PG output dot 1. So the original one is dot 0 and this one is dot 1. And now when we go up there, yes, we see second viewer. We'll just set it up slightly differently, and then both those pieces of geometry are going to get picked up. So in this case, we're going to go PG output dot 1 versions of this. And what we want is so we're going to need a second version of the viewer. So this second viewer, we'll just set it up slightly differently, and then both those pieces of geometry are going to get picked up. So in this case, we're going to go PG output dot 1. So the original one is dot 0 and this one is dot 1. And now when we go up there, yes, we see it's picking it up. So
Okay.
because we didn't merge all the geometry together, what we did was we created two different.
Squad. How is that game? I've been looking at it for a while. So it looks like he's using these geometry here. With that being said, though, it is 1:44. Maybe I watch the rest of these videos, but I do have a question. Do you guys think that I should not off-put the procedural generation, but kind of work on it on the side and then start working on like a base level for people to play to kind of get the idea, to showcase the idea of the game? So default, he gets this, but we want, what the heck? Oh, these are all the aisles and stuff. I can actually, I think he had it in here when he went to the file.
PG, two different pieces of geometry, one for the city. We're going to go PG output.
PG output. PDG dot out. He has the at symbol here. At Pirate! Hey Pirate, what's up, man? How's it going? Coder Media said you could depends on the concept. Yeah, I'm thinking about working on just something to make a quick like little level so people can play, get the idea. That way we can start moving in between stuff and really working on the mechanics, and then, you know, start to work on the procedural aspect of it. Pirate says, long time. How's work? It's doing great, man. It's doing absolutely great. Just currently working on some stuff and trying to get a better grasp of how to work in Houdini. So he has PDG underscore output. I don't know if we use that here. How does he even output this to this file? Do you have a game loop in mind? Yeah, of course. The game loop is already pretty solid. But I am going to have to work on the weekend. I'm going to have to work on the game design a little bit.
And what you see,
The game design document, the GDD.
it's not looking at the right spot. We need to be looking at this the object level for this.
I'm kind of developing a VR game in Unity. Sick. It's horror stuck with the brainstorming. Yeah, I see right now you're doing a lot of the brainstorming of the actual.
Now we've got that. There's our four good
game. It's hard because there's just so many out there. Trying to find something that's different can be difficult, but I think it's best to just work on what you want to work on. file, geometry file. So he does the tabs at PDG, which I've not done because I did a dot instead of that. And now we get the output. So whenever we select on this, if I come here, or I select on that, it'll show me. Pretty cool. But it's not showing me all the colors. But now if I click, okay, so we learned that. But we could see where we're creating all these little instances, all the primitives. I already started, but trying to find something unique. Yeah, I know Chase is making a horror game. Maybe talk to him. He's in the Discord. Ask him if he's willing to talk to you about some ideas. Maybe you guys can work on something because he's doing a horror game as well. Pirate WebEx. A usually underrated platform. Not many people use the device, but I guess that's why I can't help. It can help small devs stand out without having much of a competition. Good luck. Yeah, that is true. So, you know, I mean, there's games like Phasmophobia that are in VR, but it's a lot more fun to play on mouse and keyboard, M&K. You know, you could do something, what is it, like Alan Wake, where you hold the flashlight on things to, you know, explode them. I'm thinking about doing some VR work here eventually, right? I want to do some mixed reality things. Why this turned on? Help me grab it. That's pretty cool. But yeah, now we can touch the things. Oh, what's the problem? What's the problem? PDG not found. Is it because I'm not selecting one? That's why. That is why you have to have one selected. But yeah, we definitely have to make this an HDA. This level wave collapse. But it's about finding a way to turn this into something, right, that we can put into Unreal Engine. Have you thought of any really cool ideas yet, Pirate? Pirate WebEx. We're streaming on WebEx now, by the way, guys. So if you have a Twitter, you know, make sure to go follow me there. It's another platform you can watch me on if you want to, right? So, yeah. Not very exciting stuff right now. Well, my university has this kind of award thing in which it has a category of VR games, so I was thinking of doing it for it and continue it to make a better version as soon as it's over. Yeah. When it comes to horror, I'm not really big into it because I feel like you really gotta step into, you know, the shoes, the mindset of what a horror game includes. It's kind of difficult for me to do. Wait for all. See, he does like a partition by index. So let's try doing a partition by index. Partition by bounds by index. I don't know. By index. Merge attributes. You can still merge stuff. And it says all files, but you can also say none. Sadly, though, when you come to do this, you do this. And I guess you generate one of these for each one of these. But, you know, we want to generate 2 files here. We want to generate the collision for it, and we also want to generate the regular geometry for it. However, that's been somewhat of a pain in the butt to figure out. Also, we're going to want to get like a grid out here. How we're going to do that, I don't know. I mean, we merge all the geometry here. Might be something we have to do exclusively in this level wave collapse function, or I shouldn't say function, or node, geometry node we have here, where I get this, right? And essentially go 2 out. But we can go in here from that. And we get all of this. But it's about expanding it, deleting all the stuff on the inside, and then just getting this. And then adding that into the mix, making these all black areas where a 0 would be. But yeah, guys, it is currently 1:54. I got to use the restroom, so I'm just going to turn off the stream. I will catch you all Monday, or maybe yeah, we're going to catch you Monday. I have a lot of stuff I have to do tomorrow, but maybe we'll start streaming a little bit more. I don't know. What I do know is I think we're going to create a playable level for players to jump into, so they could just try it out and I can start play testing it a little bit, the platformer aspect. So yeah, if you have an Android phone, make sure to go join the Discord, because I'm looking to try to get some stuff out to kind of like play test. But I think we need to get combat and all that sorted first. So with that done, I bid you all adieu. Thank you for joining the stream. We appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're over on Twitch or on X, make sure to follow the channel. We stream every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. PST to 2 p.m. PST. So I will catch you all next time here on the channel. Other than that, guys, peace out. Much love. God bless. Jesus loves you. You're all beautiful. You're all great. You're all super talented. And join the Discord. Bye.